This week's Look at Local Sports sponsored by 315 Local Bakery and Diner, Alexandria Bay.
Well, welcome back. Nice to have you with us. Rob Krone, Mel Busler with you, and we're going to talk local sports once again, and there's only one sponsor brave enough to bring us to you. That's 315 Local Bakery and Diner in Alexandria Bay, which sounds pretty good right about now. We ought to take a trip right after we're done taping this.
Sounds good to me. How about we send less?
We'll send Les. We'll send our own Uber driver, Les. You can go up, pick up our food, bring it back. Hopefully it'll be hot.
DoorDash Shockley. Yeah.
DoorDash Shockley. That's his new name, his new nickname. DoorDash. All right, well, there you go. You just got done doing an interview at the time of us taping this with JCC women, who are going to be playing in a national competition this weekend for basketball. Your thoughts about them? You were kind of surprised at where they ended up as far as the seeding was concerned.
Yeah, on Saturday, JCC won. OCC, who tied for the regular season championship with JCC, lost to Herkimer. JCC beat Herkimer to win the Region 3 Division 3 championship. JCC, out of 12 teams, received a 10 seed. Onondaga Community College received an 11 seed. So I was kind of shocked by that. JCC will open up play on next Wednesday against Community College of Rhode Island, and that's a team they lost to in the Onondaga tournament by 25, 30 points. They also didn't have Corey Nichols that game. Their freshmen were, as Jeff Wiley put it, still freshmen. So he thinks that should be a different result coming up this time around. Should be a much closer game and a better game. But, you know, JCC finishing off a great season. They've won 20 of their last 21 games.
Pretty impressive. What do you think? Is it because they the seating committee just didn't respect mid-state basketball?
You know, I don't know. There were a lot of teams from the Minnesota area, and JCC, 5 of the 12 teams in the tournament JCC has played this season, haven't beat them. So Jeff Wiley thinks that was one of the reasons why his team was seeded 10th, because out of the 5 other teams that they played that made the tournament, JCC was 0-5 against those teams. And there are only 5 losses of the season.
Wow. Well, it'll be interesting. Hopefully they can make a statement this weekend.
Absolutely.
Maybe knocking off a couple of those teams. It'd be kind of nice.
Make a run.
Let's talk Section 10 basketball. This is the week, and it's going to be wrapping up where they play each other. All the class champions face each other for an overall champion in both boys and girls in Section 10. All those games at SUNY Potsdam. And it's really a good way because they have to wait anyways in order to start state play. So it keeps those teams
fresh,
pretty well tuned up too.
Absolutely. And instead of having to go around and play scrimmages against other teams, you get actual live action contests where, you can stay sharp and get ready for the state playoffs.
Yeah. As we speak, Malone Potsdam, they'll play for the overall Section 10 boys title on Friday night. Also headed to state, Harrisville and Lisbon. So it'll be interesting to see how all 4 of those teams do. And as far as the girls are concerned, Lisbon, Chateauguay, Malone, Canton, all heading to state play. Your thoughts about the representation of Section 10?
The Canton girls with kind of an upset this past weekend because I believe St. Lawrence Central was the number 1 seed and Canton beat them. But, year in and year out, Canton always a tough team in Section 10, always a tough team in states as well. And you talk about the boys, Harrisville, Lisbon, Malone, Potsdam, all of those teams could make deep runs in the states.
It'll be interesting. And usually, and I'm thinking back to the Ogdensburg teams of years past.
Coach Bill Myrna,
that Myrna would have them, into the Final Four pretty much about every year.
Yeah, year in and year out, and, the last couple of years we've been talking on the girls' side, Hammond basketball. Hammond won back-to-back state Class D championships. So, there's always a team from Section 10 that goes on a hot streak, goes on a run, and makes a run deep into state playoff action. I think this year will be no different. You may see more than one team this year do that.
Oh, that's nice. And by the way, congratulations to Coach Myrna. He was awarded an honor the other night at SUNY Potsdam for his years of coaching and what he did with that Blue Devils team.
Well deserved.
Oh, yeah, well deserved, of course. As we look at Section 3, there's only one boys team left. That's Sackett's Harbor taking on Madison on Saturday. Patriots, who knows? Looks like they might end up with another sectional crown.
Yeah, and it was a defensive struggle against Stockbridge Valley. I believe the score was 49-39 in that contest. So Sackett's Harbor, they can play either way. You want to run with them, they'll run and score with you. If you want to play a slow-down game against them, they'll play a slow-down game and lock you down as well. So, Coach Jeff Robbins has this team ready for another run at a sectional championship.
It'll be interesting to see how things shake out for them. I mean, they always are exceptional.
Yeah. Just
about every year, they're a very good team in Class D, and it'll be interesting to see if they can get through a tough Madison team.
Yeah,
coming up on Saturday.
Should be a good game.
Speaking of Sackett's Harbor, girls on Sunday taking on Lafargeville as this Frontier League party continues now to the championship. Your thoughts about that matchup?
What a game for Sackett's Harbor against IHC. That was 44-40 with Sackett's Harbor coming out on top. It was a back and forth game the entire way, And the thing with Sackett's Harbor is, you look at their record wasn't that good during the regular season, but they were also without one of their key players, too, who had a foot injury for a while.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, they in looking at that game the other night, I mean, the best player on the court was IHC's player,
Abigail
Bombard. But Sackett's Harbor had 5 strong players on the court, and to me that probably was the difference in the game. I mean, one exceptional player for IHC, but 5 talented players for Sackett's.
And that's going to make for a great Section 3 Class D championship game because Lafargeville, the defending champs, same thing with them as well. They have Barton sisters, they have Chloe Gafford at center, so they're a very well-balanced team as well, and that should be a really good game.
Yeah, Emmeline is exceptional. Emmeline Barton, she's been exceptional for Lafargeville, leading that team to another sectional final.
Yeah, and like you said, it's been the Frontier League party in Section 3
has.
Class D girls.
It really has. One other girls team we want to talk about, General Brown. They're in action on Sunday, 11 a.m. tip-off at OCC. Your thoughts about the Lady Lions?
They have been playing great. And, as I said, it seems like it's a totally different General Brown team. Once the Frontier League tournament started, you had, Madeline Ferris. You had the other Ferris sister playing well. You've got Brooke Wiley. That's a very balanced team as well and a very veteran group. And, Coach Janelle Ferris may welcome home with a sectional title.
Yeah, she's done a great job. Congratulations to the Lady Lions. Let's talk a little bit about wrestling. And it was a good weekend this past weekend for Frontier League wrestlers. A lot of them made it deep into the tournament. 3 local wrestlers end up in winning state titles.
Yep.
Patrick Grimsey of Lowville. We had Caleb Martin of Sackett's Harbor, the one-man team at Sackett's Harbor.
And Camden Dorchester from Carthage.
Yeah. I mean, all 3 of them were exceptional. Your thoughts about the representation? Pretty impressive for the Frontier League.
It was, and we also had Brock Frederick, who finished second, and we also had Tristan Jarvie from General Brown, who finished 4th. So, a lot of talent from the Frontier League going out to the states and, proving that the Frontier League is probably one of the toughest wrestling leagues for boys in New York State, coming home with 3 championships.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And Frederick from South Jeff. That was my pick
Yeah.
to win a state title.
Yep.
I was so impressed seeing him at his performance at the Frontier League tournament. He didn't even have to take a shower after that match. I mean, he pretty much dominated that match, and then I thought he was going to go far, and he did, but not a championship title.
And one other note from the New York State Wrestling Championships out in Albany this past weekend, assistant coach Chad Snow came home with an award. He was awarded Assistant Coach of the Year in New York State.
Pretty impressive.
So congratulations to Chad Snow, who in the last couple of seasons has taken over the Thousand Islands duels during the summer and helped run that along with Ricky Martin, who is the father of Caleb Martin.
Yeah. And Caleb, and by the way, all three of these, the next two are coming up this week and next week, that they're going to be athletes of the week. Martin and Grimsey. Dorchester has already been an athlete of the week this year for his performance earlier in the season.
You knew he was going to win a state championship.
Well, I don't. So it's better to be lucky than too smart on this thing. But all three of them certainly deserving of the award, and you'll see Martin and Grimsey coming up over the next 2 weeks. So congratulations to those guys.
Absolutely outstanding efforts by them on the mat out in Albany.
Well, we should talk a little bit of hockey. We've got Canton, OFA, and Malone start state play coming up this weekend. Good representation from Section 10 for boys. Your thoughts about those teams?
OFA is state ranked. I believe they're number 2 in the state.
Unbelievable. They've had a great season. Of course, Canton and Malone also great seasons. So well represented Section 10. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I think OFA has a great chance at making a deep run and coming home with a state championship. And, we're talking hockey. Let's also talk a little bit before we go about women's college hockey. The ECAC Final Four taking place, both St. Lawrence and Clarkson in it. Semifinals on Friday night. And the Clarkson men, they receive a first-round bye in the ECAC tournament, so they don't have to play this weekend. They finished in the top 2. It was them and Quinnipiac. So a great first year for Coach J.F. Houle.
Speaking of tournaments, what's the story on Syracuse men's basketball? Do they have a position penciled in?
I think they
for
do.
This coming week.
I think they do, but that loss to SMU, another one of those where
2-point loss.
Yeah, they were up by double digits.
Yeah,
and another classic example this season for Syracuse basketball, up by double digits, look like they have total control of the game. Then there's a meltdown, and they end up losing a close contest. If they would have won half of those games, they'd probably be over 500 this year.
Yeah.
It's just, this is one of those seasons where you can't wait for the season to be over. Wait for them to get ready for next season. You got Kyan Anthony coming in. You've got another top recruit coming in. But I think next season is going to be a make-or-break season for Red Autry.
Oh, you bet.
If it's another one of these seasons, he may not be coach.
Yeah, no, they're not going to be patient.
No.
Because they want to pack the dome. And if the team isn't competitive,
people aren't going to go.
People aren't going to buy tickets.
Nope.
Yeah. DoorDash.
Yeah, loss.
Is just about ready to go, right? He's ready to wrap things up. He's going to head out to the 315 local bakery and diner in Alexandria Bay to pick us up some food.
He already texted our order, yeah.
Nice. Thank you very much for doing that, Les. So we appreciate Les's help as far as producing the show once again. So if you have any complaints, he's the man to see. Rob, thank you once again. And thank you, folks, for watching us this week. We'll be back with you next week, and we'll talk about some results from the sectionals and also state play, the teams in state play. We'll see how they're doing. We'll check all that out coming your way a week from today.